Casey Gray here from The Conscious Builder, and what you're about to watch is a short segment from an interview I did with Riley Oikle, who is a real estate investor and coach. And we get into quite a few topics. However, what we want to focus a little bit on here is the BRRRR strategy. BRRRR, B-R-R-R-R, stands for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. That is a strategy that's widely used throughout the real estate world, but I think it's really important for other contractors to consider, because as contractors, anybody who's self-employed, you don't have a pension, you don't have anything to fall back on. Not that I necessarily believe in that stuff and that it's necessarily going to be there when we need it. However, that's a side topic outside of this, but it's important to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success in the future, that we're protecting our families. So that's why I want to share this here. So I hope you enjoy this. Here is Riley Oikle.
Yeah, no, exactly. So the BRRRR strategy is pretty straightforward. Like at a kind of a bird's eye view, looking down, the whole idea is that you're going to buy a property, and then the difference between what it's worth when you buy it and what it's worth afterwards is big enough that you can actually pull out some money, and that money that you pull out, you can recycle into the next property. And there's some tax benefits too when you do that. So BRRRR is like BRRRR. And there's actually 4 R's there. So we're going to kind of go through the acronym. So the buy is when you're going to buy a property for a discounted rate. So, you're going to buy it for a discounted rate. Usually off market is where you'd want to buy that property, especially in the type of market that we're in right now. Being a seller's market, it's pretty difficult to buy a discounted property. That's kind of distressed. It needs some work. It's not in great shape at all. Usually, it smells a little funky, to be honest. So you're going to go in there, you're going to buy that property, and then you're going to renovate it. So you're going to do what I call strategic renovations. So not all renovations are going to add value or equity to the property. Some of them can actually you can spend money and it just kind of disappears. So, I hear all the time that people spent $100K on a renovation, but it only increased the property's value by $50,000. So you just magically had $50,000 disappear in your investment. So that's not a good thing to do. So you want to do very strategic renovations. And then you'll also, after the renovation is done, you'll want to then rent the property for fair market rents, like as much as you really can, and rent it for obviously more than what it was previously rented for when you bought the property. So once you have it rented, then you can go to the banks and you can say, hey banks, here are the photos. Here's the difference between what the property was and what it is now, the difference in what the rents were before and what they are now. It's a completely different business. It's a completely different property. Will you give me a new mortgage for a larger amount based on the increase in value, the after repair value, what it's worth now, since everything's finished? And they will. And that's called the refinance, which is your 3rd R. So that's where you're going to pull out your money. And hopefully that's enough money actually to cover the costs of your down payment, your closing costs, and your renovation costs. And if it is, you've just accomplished like a complete 100% BRRRR. Very, very difficult to do right now. But if you can do that, that's fantastic. Sometimes we're seeing like a 75 to 80% BRRRR. So we can get a lot of that money back out, but not all of it. And then the last R is kind of like just the repeat, because naturally, if you have that big refinance check, you're going to want to spend that and recycle it into the next investment. So for some of our partners, we'll buy one and we'll do the entire BRRRR. And then 6 months later, we'll go and we'll buy another property with that exact same down payment money and renovation money. And we'll buy the second one and the third and so on.
Glad you tuned in for this short segment. If you want to listen to the entire interview, the link is down below in the description. However, if you want to see other short segments of great interviews like this, be sure to click the link, check out the playlist with all the other people we've had on the show, and remember to live consciously.